Surprise, surprise. I'm still alive. I apologize for the absence. I came back from vacation. I was able to do the one video and I just had a weird it wasn't a bad sickness. Like it wasn't like it was taking me out. It was just really weird. I still have some of the effects, like my nose still gets little stuffed up every once in a while. But the main part is my ears have been consistently going on and off. I mean, it feels like they're, plugged and then unplugged, and they've been like crackling like crazy. It's been so weird, and it's just like I don't want to shout. And today's been the first day that I feel like I can actually talk at a level where I can hear myself clearly. So that's why I took some time off. I'm sorry for anybody who's been watching these daily and looking forward to them. Uh, I've been missing uploading them. You could ask my fiance. She was here up until 2 days ago, and I just every day I'm like, I feel so bad that I'm not recording again tonight. I feel like I'm just being lazy and I'm falling behind, and I just really wanted to do more readings. Because for me, other than that one day that we came back from vacation at the end of December, it's been since December 13th, I think, since I have been recording. So it's been the better part of a month since I've done this consistently. So I apologize. We're going to do one today, and hopefully I can keep going depending on how everything goes. I'm going to, try to get over this fully as much as I can. But yeah, thanks for your patience and thanks for the support. And welcome to the new year, by the way. I forgot it's the new year. First video of 24. Awesome. I've been getting some tips from some people, and I'm trying to work on them. First and foremost, I've been told that thumbnails go a long way, and I know seeing the same thing over and over is just very boring. I used to know how to make a thumbnail. Not a good thumbnail, but I used to know how to make one. If you are familiar with my other channel, hopefully you aren't, because it was, it's more about video games. And anyway, there is a series I did playing through a video game, and I actually made my own thumbnails for it. So, not good ones again. So I'm going to have to get back into it. I'm going to try to relearn it. I do have 10 days from today until my next college semester starts. So hopefully I will have enough time between now and then to get that taken care of, and maybe some more improvements along the way. We have moved back into our building for school since we got flooded at the end of last summer. So there's been a lot of work going on in the building, getting desks moved back into classrooms, just putting things back to where they were, unboxing everything. It's been a lot of stuff. But I'm going to try my best to get everything done so I can focus on this and just relax a little bit until my semester starts. So yeah, anyway, so today we're getting back to Joseph's story. The last story, if I remember correctly, was a little weird, and it probably didn't help that I was like under the effects of whatever at the time that I was doing these recordings. So that probably made it even weirder for me, but I know it was a little bit of a weirder story. So we're getting back to Joseph, and this one is chapter 39, Joseph and Potiphar's wife. Now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt. Potiphar, an Egyptian who was one of Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard, bought him from the Ishmaelites who had taken him there. So remember, his brother sold him to the Ishmaelites. The Lord was with Joseph so that he prospered, and he lived in the house of his Egyptian master. When his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord gave him success in everything he did, Joseph found favor in his eyes and became his attendant. Potiphar put him in charge of his household, and he entrusted to his care everything he owned. From the time he put him in charge of his household and of all that he owned, the Lord blessed the household of the Egyptian because of Joseph. The blessing of the Lord was on everything Potiphar had, both in the house and in the field. So Potiphar left everything he had in Joseph's care. With Joseph in charge, he did not concern himself with anything except the food he ate. Now Joseph was well built and handsome, and after a while his master's wife took notice of Joseph, and said, "Come to bed with me." But he refused. "With me in charge," he told her, "my master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns he has entrusted to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master has withheld nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her or even be with her. One day he went into the house to attend to his duties, and none of the household servants was inside. Is that correct grammar? None of the household servants was inside or were inside. English majors, let me know. She caught him by his cloak and said, "Come to bed with me." But he left his cloak in her hand and ran out of the house. When she saw that he had left his cloak in her hand and had run out of the house, she called her household servants. "Look," she said to them, "this Hebrew has been brought to us to make sport of us. He came in here to sleep with me, but I screamed. When he heard me scream for help, he left his cloak beside me and ran out of the house." She kept his cloak beside her until his master came home. Then she told him this story. "That Hebrew slave you brought us came to me to make sport of me. But as soon as I screamed for help, he left his cloak beside me and ran out of the house." When his master heard the story his wife told him, saying, "This is how your slave treated me," he burned with anger. Joseph's master took him and put him in prison, the place where the king's prisoners were confined. But while Joseph was there in the prison, the Lord was with him. He showed him kindness and granted him favor in the eyes of the prison warden. So the warden put Joseph in charge of all those held in the prison, and he was made responsible for all that was done there. The warden paid no attention to anything under Joseph's care, because the Lord was with Joseph and gave him success in whatever he did. So imagine going from being sold by your brothers to being in charge of all of what Potiphar owns, and then his wife wanting to sleep with you, having the willpower to resist her day after day, and then being thrown in prison wrongly, but yet God's favor is still with you, so now you're put in charge of everything in the prison, pretty much, which I just think is funny. Couple things that come to my mind. Different time, because Potiphar just, assumed his wife was telling the truth, even though he trusted Joseph with everything he owned. So now, I guess I shouldn't say different time, but different kind of person. At least in my mind, no matter what somebody tells me, I always take it with a fraction of a percent that it could be false. There is almost nothing that I hear that I trust 100% right away until I get more information or hear it from multiple different people that I all have the same trust in. It's just, for me, at least in my life, too many times has somebody told me something and that little tiny sliver of a fraction of it being false has come true. And then I either am left like dumbfounded, or I say something incorrect to somebody else because of, somebody's telling me something wrong. And it's not intentional all the time. I'm just saying I don't ever fully trust things that people tell me right away. It might sound a little cynical, but it's not like I hate people because of it or take it to a degree that is unhealthy. But it's just, I don't know. I don't take things at face value. So I feel like that can save people a lot from like misunderstandings and arguments with others. And here it would have worked perfectly if Potiphar had, instead of just trusted his wife, which I know she's your wife, you don't ever think anything bad of your wife, so it was a different situation. And maybe have a slight, very, very small thought that the person you've put in charge of everything you owned could be telling the truth, no matter if it's like 0.0001% chance of him telling the truth. I don't know. It's just, you don't act on anything until you know for certain, especially something with that magnitude. But that's just my opinion. Other thing that I found kind of interesting was that it said that God's favor was with Potiphar and all that he owned because of Joseph. I feel like I've been saying Jacob a lot, but forgive me. It's Joseph, not Jacob, if I've been saying that. So even if Potiphar, whoever Joseph would have been under, if they don't believe in God, because I don't think they mentioned anything unless it was before and I forgot. It didn't mention anything in this one about him fearing God or believing in God, anything like that. So even though he doesn't, everything he had was still blessed by God just because Joseph was there. So I don't know, I think that was just very interesting how God would bless him just because Joseph was in charge of everything. So you're really giving the benefits to Potiphar, but Joseph is the reason of why you're being blessed. I don't think that there's anything, obviously there's nothing wrong with it because God did it, but it's just an interesting thing to think about. God still blesses those who don't believe in him because maybe somebody else in their life is a believer. I don't know. Pretty cool to think about. All right, I'm going to cut it there. Sorry for dragging on about everything, but hope everybody had a good vacation, a happy new year. And like I said, hopefully we'll be back in it every single day at 7 o'clock, having a video ready for you guys. And maybe with some improvements in the next week or two. All right. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. And with that, we will see you tomorrow morning.